It says I'm live, and I'm doing it. I'm gonna. It's on your YouTube live stream channel, and looks like also Twitch. Can you guys see me and everything? I don't know if you guys can hear yourselves. I turned it. I think I turned it off. I don't know if do you want me to turn the volume on my end up, or you want me to turn that setting on so you guys can hear yourself?
You can hear everyone in the video.
I
Like
think I
questions
did it.
stuff.
Let me see if. Do you guys say something?
Oh, yeah, we can hear each other now on the stream.
Okay. Cool.
Uh,
All right. Figured it out. Good. I'm learning.
Just put a message in Discord. Hello, YouTube. If you can hear us, yes, you can indeed. We're just waiting in chat if anybody wants to come and talk to Johnny about ABCs.
there is like 0 delay between Discord and YouTube. That's crazy.
I guess my internet's pretty good. Or StreamYards is really good and really how do I say it? Doesn't have a lot of latency.
Yeah.
Or you have some good friends on YouTube.
I guess they like me. Who knows? Or they like David.
Not sure about that. They probably like you.
If they are like trading view now, not really. Hey David, wanna hear a good combo?
Just bear me 2 seconds, lad. Okay, send the message. Okay, hi, I'm here. Oh, I can hear myself.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Not sure about that. But anyway. Sorry, you're going to say something, Vlad?
Oh, no, nothing. Just
Okay.
let's get started.
Okay. Cool.
Welcome everyone. How are you? Oops. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Yo.
I thought you were doing Udemy courses.
I was, but this is start.
Strong Peace here too. Hello.
Hey.
Hello.
Strong P. How you going, mate?
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Right. I guess it's over to you, Johnny, my friend.
Whenever
All right. Let's do it. What's up, everyone? How's everyone doing? Hope you're all doing well. I
Very well,
need to. There we go. Okay. So, long time no see, everyone. I know it's been a while since I've been on here. So we're just gonna do a quick little update. Unfortunately, nothing really has happened, and for me and balancing my life, that's kind of good because I really don't have to pay attention to what's going on that much. But from an actual trading perspective, and waiting for volatility to happen from a volatility standpoint, not the best going on. So let's go over the options quick. A lot of this might be a repeat for some of you. If not, Definitely a good refresher and kind of just give you my thought process and how I approach these things or how I approach my style of trading. So first things first, the first thing I want to do is, go on to a larger time frame and look at the bigger perspective and kind of see where we're at. And from there, we can kind of come up with our own decisions and come up with different variations of what could happen. So the first thing I want to do is go out to I would say I would consider this a much larger macro time frame. And from there, I would go ahead and see if I can find some sort of ABC. And to me, I have a much larger setup here. Now, the question is this low at about 17,500 the bottom, or does the C leg want to come down and put in a lower low to put a more completed structure in? Now, when I say that, I mean that a lot of the times when you're looking at ABCs, you'll more often than not find its own set of ABCs within each wave or each section of the ABC. So I'll go ahead and show you guys what I mean. Within the A, I can identify an ABC. Within the B, there's its own ABC. And then within the C, this is either an ABC here. I always do this. I always mess this up. It's either an ABC here, and this is the bottom, or the other alternative is, yes, that ABC is still there, but it might not be the bottom. All right. And there's definitely a possibility to come down and definitely put in a new low. And if that does happen for me, that's going to look like a much larger completed structure. It doesn't have to happen as of now. This looks like this could be a bottom. Now that's just kind of my personal opinion. I'm not too dead set on that, but just from a traditional patterns perspective, now I don't normally do this, but one of the most bullish patterns I've seen on Bitcoin's chart is the Adam and Eve. And to me, this is looks like a gigantic Adam and Eve. And I can go back in history and show you guys different examples. Basically, you're looking for a sharp decline, a stable recovery, and then some sort of rounded bottom where price action kind of consolidates and slowly works its way up. Once the neckline of the Adam and Eve breaks, to me, that calls for a much larger, I would say it calls for a larger bottom or a potential bottom. It's not guaranteed, but for me, from what I've seen over the course of history, they always say history never repeats. It usually rhymes. So I'm not dead set on it. The ABC part of me, when I do see that, I also see a potential setup to where this could be a much larger A to a B to a C. If that is the case, I'm definitely I'm going to be shorting this regardless. Regardless of what I think could happen, regardless of, I do see an Adam and Eve forming, I want to take that short just in case that, this could be another setup similar to what happened back in January back to March. I'll go ahead and highlight that region for you. But for me, this looks like another possibility of something similar on a much larger scale. And this could be just a pullback and we can continue downtrending. I don't know. I really have to kind of see how price action and how price wants to develop. And from there, I can go ahead and make a decision. But as of right now, that is what I'm going with on a larger scale. Now, the question, like I said before, is the bottom at 17.5 the bottom, or do we want to come down and break it, form a new low, and then potentially reverse from there? Now, in order for me to kind of figure that out as well, I want to go down. This is when I kind of go ahead and zoom in. Now, when I say zoom in, I say it in air quotes because it's all about perspective. To me, you can be on a 1 hour time frame, and if you're zoomed in on a 1 hour time frame, as far as you can zoom in, to me, this doesn't necessarily help in the decisions that I make, and it doesn't really give you the bigger picture of what levels are important. What are the major pivots? For me, I like to zoom out as much as I can and to get the best perspective possible of what price action is showing me. And to me, around like the 30-minute to the 2 hours, like a good range for me to kind of focus and get a good idea of what is going on. 2 hours probably, besides looking at the major macro levels, The 2 hours mostly where I start. If I can see something, I might move into an hour. And if it still looks, if I can find something else within a certain section of price action, maybe I'll go to a 30-minute. More often than not, I kind of stick to the hour. But when I do go to a smaller time frame, I always have the bigger picture in mind. I have a better idea of what is going on, and from there I can put the pieces of the puzzle together. So if I go, let's go back to an hour actually. So from here, I have a clear A to a B to a C. All right. And that could possibly be two things. Now, this goes back to the much more macro perspective, the broader perspective. Excuse me. This ABC could either be a B wave, like I talked about before. Like if I go back to a 2 hour, that could have completed the B wave here, and that we're going to continue downward, or that ABC that I mentioned, or actually I'll just go ahead and draw it again, but I will use trend lines. If you guys need me to label that for you, I can, or I'll use the ABC tool, but I just want to use this to just kind of show you guys what the ABC in this section looks like. Now, that's either the B wave, like I mentioned before, or this is a bigger A wave to where we have an A to a B to a C. And then the C is going to want to come up and at least break that high of that 25,200 area. Within the B wave of this B that I identified, I have a clear ABC, at least in my eyes, an A to a B to a C. And now from there, I can establish a trading plan and I can kind of figure out, okay, what positions do I want to take? Where do I see the price structure going? And from there, that's when I kind of determine take profits or at least areas I want to see be tested. And for me, I have this larger ABC, and as long as price is above that 18,465, 470 level, I'm going to go ahead and take a long on that. And I'm going to be either long-term bullish or temporarily bullish. I'm not sure, but I have to be bullish as if price can sustain above here. If price decides to move upward and continue pumping, where are the areas that I'm going to look for? What is the first area of major resistance, or at least where do I see price going? For me, it goes back to what I said before. Once you understand the bigger picture of what could happen, it's a little bit easier to kind of give yourself an idea of what the next possible move is. So one of the alternative variations that I talked about before is this being a larger A to a B to a C. Now, if I'm taking a long and I'm looking for the structure, for me, what I want to see tested is at least that high at 25,204, which I'll go ahead and mark out for you guys here. If it wants to push past that, that's fine. Let it ride. One of the biggest things that I learned in my style and how it works is that you have to let these moves run. One of the things I make mistakes on, and I see a lot of people make mistakes, is that they'll make a trade basis off of a major structure, but they'll go ahead and take profit too early. An example of that is, there is a way, or sometimes I do use this. It's not often, but I will use fibs to kind of give myself an area of where price wants to go. Now, usually I target between the 0.5 and the 0.441, kind of like the halfway point between the trend that I identified and from where I pulled the fibs from. So from there, the 0.5 area is here. But if I understand what the possibility of a bigger picture is, to me, I feel like you'd be cutting yourself short. You'd definitely be cutting out too early of a trade. And if you do decide to take profit early and price does continue to run, it's not necessarily the best option. So for me, when I put the pieces of the puzzle together, when I'm coming up with the options that I'm, identifying, or the variations that I'm identifying, it goes into creating a trading plan. And that from there, once I enter a trade, I have an idea of where I want to see price go. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. I don't know it. This can easily just come up and come right back down, something like this. We have an A, B, C. And then we have something like this, and then we can easily just continue downwards here. I don't know. But for me, the structure is large enough. And to me, that pivot at 18,475 is major enough for me to call how do I say this? It's easy for me to say that it is a solid pivot, that is a major pivot, if the idea of the ABC or the larger ABC of the upside does want to happen. So as of right now, that's been my plan for the last, I would say, when we put in that last low since September 19th. So about almost 2 weeks. I'm continuing to hold my longs until I see some sort of price movement. If price does continue to dump, the next possible setup that I'm looking for is something I talked about earlier, is identifying. Now that I have my variations identified, I know that, okay, if that level fails, the next major pivot, in my opinion, is going to be that 17,600. Now, if price dumps and let's say it doesn't hold that level, and let's say it just continues to free fall, I'll have to go back and wait for price action, give me another setup for me to be a little bit more bullish. Unfortunately, I can't take shorts. I can't ride that wave down if price wants to do that. In certain situations, let's say for hypothetical reasons, let's say that is the case, I might look to another coin to actually take a short off of to catch a potential bigger short. I'll go over that. There's a couple things I'm eyeballing right now. I'm primarily looking at XRP for sure. I'll go over that next, and it really depends on how XRP develops in price. But I do have a setup. But for now, primarily for BTC, those are the major pivots. That's my game plan going forward. I'll go ahead and draw that for you one more time just to kind of just show you guys the areas that I'm looking to take positions off of. Oh, that is the wrong tool. And then I'll go ahead and draw that line up there as an area of resistance that I'm personally looking at. So from there, that is about it for BTC. Let's move on to ETH. I always have this short set up here. Got to save my chart. Okay, so ETH is in a very similar situation. The structure played out a little bit differently, but to me, I still have, let's go back to what I said from the beginning is I already know what I see in ETH. I'll just show you guys if I was approaching this as like, me taking a look at this for the first time, or, if it's been a while since I looked at a coin, this is pretty much how I approach it. I know that this area price action here, you had an ABC top, and now we're kind of in a larger correction here. We have an A to a B to a C. Now with ETH, I personally think that ETH bottom at that around that $800 mark. Could it go down and put in a lower low? Absolutely. And to me, that would look something like this, if that is the case. And then this is going to be its own ABC. ETH had its own ABC here with a flat in the B, which, like I said, I mentioned this before. Flats do happen, and flats do occur when I'm viewing or when I'm using this strategy. I don't prioritize them. Maybe like 5% of the time, a flat will form, and it's hard to necessarily kind of catch a position off of that or see if a flat is forming just based off the metrics that I look for. So to me, that looks like an ABC flat, and then maybe, who knows, this could be some sort of A to a B to a C. I don't necessarily know what price wants to do, but that's one of the variations. The primary thing I'm looking for ETH is that this is a much larger A to a B to a C. We bottomed at 881, 880 around there, and now I need to focus on this section of price action here. Now, I mentioned that this is an A to a B to a C with an ABC flat in the B. And from there, ideally, what I think is going to happen, when I'm looking for at the very least, is that this is going to be an A, where either finished a B or we're going to be finishing a B wave, and then I'm looking for another push up to at least put in a higher high past that 2033 region. Now it depends as well. There's also a good amount of price action here, so this could be a good zone of support or resistance. I meant to say resistance, but let's kind of this area here. To me, that's a good area of resistance. When I approach these resistance zones, these are just kind of like pockets. I don't have an exact set level. With ABCs, I have more of a set level that I look for. But when it comes to kind of looking at longer term support and resistance, I like to look at these in zones. So at the bare minimum, if ETH is going to pump, I'm looking for a test and a break of that 2032 region. If not, ETH's probably going to continue into the zone, and it might put in its own setup somewhere up here, something like that. If that does happen, to me, that looks like a nice clear setup. I'd be willing to take shorts off of here. Even though I think overall, if we do continue to pump, price or market structure could change. But to me, if the setup forms and the setup's large enough and I like the setup, I will take it regardless of how I feel. So that's primarily what I'm looking for ETH. I'll mark out the levels. If it wants to pump, I'll show you guys the entries that I'm currently looking at. If I do want to ride this wave up. Come on. All right. So let's say ETH. So for ETH on this pullback, the major pivot of this ABC is around that 1420. If ETH can get above that and sustain, to me, that's good. That's calling for a more bullish reversal. That's definitely shown signs of strength, in my opinion. And the C leg, either she bottomed at the that 1218, and you do have an ABC here. But to me, as price is developing further, I personally think that the more likely option, like I said, I could be completely wrong. That pivot is not as big as the larger potential one that I see here of this setup here. And maybe we can continue lower, but want to see a test of 1218 if that 1275 level fails. So for now, I'm going to be taking longs off of this area here. And like I said, if that structure breaks and we put in another low, the next area I'm looking to take a position off of is at 1218. Now, remember, the most important pivot to me is at 1420 level. So how I'm going to be approaching taking positions is I'm probably going to be using half risk, whatever setup forms down here. If we stay above that 1273, if not, like I said, I'm looking for 1219 to be broken and reclaimed. I'm going to be taking half risk, a half position on that, and another half up here. Now, unfortunately, recently on this wick down here, a couple days, it was yesterday, I got wicked out and I did not enter. I remember it was like the middle of the night and I was just kind of still in a fog, and I just, like, by muscle memory came in, saw that I got stopped out, and I was like, all right, whatever, we're going to keep dumping. And I didn't set a conditional. So unfortunately, I missed out on that re-entry. So I have a full position set at 1420. If price does come down and test that level, if not, put in a new low, I will change my order setup to where I'll take half and then wait for the other half to sprinkle at 1420. And I'll show you the structures that I'm looking at based off of that. That is the smaller one at 1273. If that fails, I'm looking to test. Well, I'm looking for 1920 to be broken and reclaimed. If that doesn't get reclaimed and just continues, to dump downward, and let's say price does continue to fall, I have a plan. I fortunately cannot short. You do have a setup here. I know a couple people have reached out to me and asked me about this setup. This is a good ABC, but the problem is when you zoom out and you see the bigger perspective, I personally don't think it's big enough for me to take. Just because of how when you zoom out in the grand scheme of things, that is a small setup to compare to something like, let's say, something like this. Not ABC is playing into the C. Where's that peak? Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Another example of a good short that I did take was this one here. And even still, like the size of this structure compared to this one, to me, this is a more significant size setup, and I'd be more willing to take that than I would be willing to take this. So that ABC is there. It's something that I personally, like I said, I keep saying this, I'm not taking that, but that is a setup in my opinion. So that's the game plan going forward with ETH. Let's see. I just want to go over one more thing is this XRP setup. Now, I usually don't touch this with the 10-foot pole. Like I don't like leverage trading XRP just because of past experience, and I do have a personal beef with the chart of XRP because I've been burned so many times. But I do see this nice large ABC setup here. All right. And if XRP can get back below that 4104, or depending, let's see, let me get a more exact number for you guys. Yeah, about 4104, 4105. I'll definitely take a short. I don't know where I'm gonna target. I'm probably gonna target at the very minimum that 2869, just in case that this is going to be a larger structure here to where you can easily get something like, is there no, I might have to use a different chart. Let me go over to, I forgot I got taken off of Coinbase. I always forget about that. So this can be something like this to where you have an A to a B to a C, and then this is an A to a B to a C. So going back to what I said before, I'm going to be targeting that low at 28,711 at the very least. Price can easily continue dumping from there, from a kind of basic support region. Actually, not, that line should have been green. From a basic support region, I want to see, let's see, if that fails, I like this area a decent amount, somewhere around here. To me, that's a good area of support. And then if that fails, probably the absolute peak of that, or the bottom. See if that goes off of anything else. Not really, not necessarily. So primarily I'm looking for that area to be tested if that continues to fall. I don't know yet. I'm just going based off of local lows and local areas of support, just based off of what I see in my opinion. But primarily I'm looking for that larger setup to play out if XRP wants to dump. I don't know if it's going to. I just have to play that setup just in case, because to me, this is a much larger setup to take, and you really don't have any other availability on any other coins, at least that I'm willing to take. I've once in a while I'll scan other coins like BCH, XMR. There's nothing significant. If XMR can get back above that 175, I'll take a short. But to me, there's nothing of a good size that's available for me to short if price wants to continue dumping. So that's the main plan going forward. That's pretty much that's all the updates I have of what I'm looking at, the positions I'm taking, and the plan going forward for me. So I guess I'll turn it over to you guys in case you have any questions for me, anything you want me to go over. If not, I'll go ahead and move over to traditional markets if you guys want me to look at that as well. But let's take a little pause here. So if you guys have any questions about anything Bitcoin or crypto related TA or trading in general, I'm open ears. Do I pull up?
Any questions? Anyone?
I mean, anyone?
Don't think so.
It's late for us.
I guess I'm doing. I
Johnny,
guess I'm
Johnny
doing
is
a
too
good
good
job.
explaining. That's the whole reason.
That's. I
Yeah,
mean, that's
so
what I was gonna
it-
say. Maybe I'm doing a good job.
Yeah, you're doing a very good job.
All right. So if anyone doesn't have any questions, I'll kind of go over traditional markets because this is something that I've been eyeing recently. So let's.
Myro, stop eating your mic, mate.
All right. So I just want to go over just a couple of things when it comes to traditional markets. So when you look at the SPY has a very nice ABC. Like I'm talking probably market, I guess, a pivot change, a overall market structure change. I know I'm not trying to give my personal bias on this. It's just kind of the way how I approach my mindset in viewing charts and just markets in general. One of the things I look at is, oh, hold on, I got a question on stream here. Thoughts on Atom? I'll go ahead and take a look at Atom. Let me just finish this tech jungle and I'll switch over in a second. So when I view kind of market structure, market standpoints, and just basically what's going on in the world right now, a lot of people are bearish. A lot of people think that we're going into a deep recession. A lot of people think we're going into borderline depression. It's not that I don't think that that can't happen. My personal thing is I like to take what everyone else is thinking and kind of a more major viewpoint on what the world is thinking. And from there, I will kind of play devil's advocate. Doesn't mean I'm going to be right, but one of the things I learned just from learning the ABC method, just from being around in the markets for a while and also reading books and getting good information, understanding different viewpoints of more experienced traders than me, is that a lot of the times you can go against the herd and do really well. If the herd is thinking one direction, you might be able to play the other direction and you probably would do decently well. I don't know what strategies, but that kind of goes with the ABC strategy in general. Is the reason why this kind of works. I wouldn't say it's, how do I say this? To me, this is the best strategy that I've come across. I'm not saying it's perfect. It does have some issues, but a lot of it's personal. I think the actual strategy itself is pretty well done. And I think it's from, how do I say this?
Hold on.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I'm not sure if someone was about to ask a question, but
I think he
I'll
just
go.
slipped on his mic or something.
I think so. Yep.
Okay. All right. So I'll keep going. So one of the reasons why ABCs work so well is it goes against traditional mindset thinking. Now, when I say that is I've done this. I'm sure a good amount of you guys watching or in here in the room right now have possibly done this. Is you start off trading basic support and resistance. And one of the things you do while doing that is trading breakouts. So if price establishes a certain level, if it breaks above or below, you'll go ahead and try to play into that momentum of that break of whatever level you're looking at. For example, down here, like if you're looking at this low from a support and resistance mindset, in your eyes, every time price broke down, you think that's momentum pushing to the downside. And you think that, okay, you know what? Price looks weak. It looks like it wants to come down and at least test that 17,600 level. So you're going to be willing to take shorts. The ABC method kind of goes against that, saying, you know what? Price breaking below and reclaiming and pushing back above, in this case scenario for BTC, that actually shows signs of strength. And you'll go ahead and take positions off that because you're actually going against what people who are trading traditional support and resistance might do, or if they're trading breakout or breakouts trading style of trading. I know that was kind of a tongue twister for me. If you're trading breakouts, it goes against that. And for me, what I've seen a lot of people who are new to this take that route because it's the easiest. You don't have to worry about indicators. If you want to basically plot levels on there, it's a lot easier to establish certain levels and play off of those levels. the issue is that a lot of the times how do I say this? Me personally, I do think there are people with a lot of money in this game. Some might not have that same approach idea, but I feel like the main players in this game understand that most people are trading in a certain style. And in this game, it's give and take. You know, if I lose a position, I'm giving someone else my money. If I'm winning a position, I'm taking someone else's money. And that's what this game really is. It's just a give and take. So
Someone's got to
May-
lose in order for you
Ex-
to win.
exactly. Someone loses
That's
and
how
then
I see
someone
it.
else wins. Exactly. It's a give and take. So in this game, major market makers or market players understand that, you know what, I can take the ideas of what most people are using and use that to my advantage. That goes with everything. It goes with traditional support and resistance trading. You know, when a lot of people like to use certain indicators, I can't necessarily speak in certainty because I don't personally know people who are like that who play, but just based off what I see, majority of what people do in trading, they fail for a reason. And the reason why they fail is I personally think that people who understand how the majority of people trade also understand that they can take advantage of that and play against you. And that's another reason why I think the ABC method works so well, because regardless, I can sit here and preach this to a million people. Regardless of how many people I preach this to, people are still going to mess it up. So, well, a big question that I get every once in a while is, why are you preaching this? Why don't you just take this method to yourself? And why don't you just take advantage of that? Regardless, there's a quote from Trading in the Zone. Basically, Mark Douglas quotes another trader. I don't remember his name, but basically, this is kind of the same situation. If you have a certain strategy, if it works so well, why would you tell anyone else? And basically, he said, I can sit there and post a strategy on the front news of the New York Times, but people will still find a way to mess it up. And it's 100% true. Same thing with any strategy. You can give certain parameters and certain rules to follow, but people will still find a way to mess it up. And this all goes back to what I was trying to say before, is going back from a traditional market standpoint. With everyone being so bearish, with bad news coming out and all this, everyone has the right to be bearish. But me playing devil's advocate, saying, okay, if everyone's so bearish and if support is being broken, that is a perfect opportunity for markets to turn. I'm not saying this is going to be a bull run. I personally think that this could be a good area for traditional markets to reverse and have some sort of test to the upside. I don't want to sit here and say this is it, bear market's over. We're done. We're going pumped, going to the everything's going to the moon. That wouldn't be fair for me to say. But I can say with fairness that this is definitely a good point for the market to pivot and to switch and to flip. Doesn't mean it's going to. My job is to understand where it can. And to me, off of this major setup, coming off of the bull market rally from COVID, if I zoom out, this looks like a healthy correction. I love this. So, and price is doing a good job of sustaining it. It's kind of fighting in that zone, but to me, it's holding. And if it continues to hold and pump, we're gonna be testing some decent levels of resistance here. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's gonna go about and go back to the all-time high. I have to take it one level at a time. So for me, going back to just basics, support and resistance, just as guidelines. Remember, I don't take any positions off of basic support and resistance. I kind of use that as guidelines to where price wants to go. If price doesn't want to pump from here, the first major area I'm looking at is like that 428 for the SPY. Next is going to be that 461, and then back to the all-time high at 480. We have to take it one level at a time. I don't know. But that's how I'm looking at this. This is how I'm approaching what's going on in the markets right now. And that's a little bit of a reason why I'm kind of leaning more bullish, because this of everything that I mentioned, structure as well as overall mindset of what the world is thinking right now. same thing with Dow Jones. The Dow Jones is a little different. Oh, you know what? Tech Jungle, thank you for chatting again. I got to go back to Adam. I'll do that after this. The Dow Jones basically has its own ABC, and I need the Dow Jones to get back above 29,651 in order for me to be bullish on it. Let's take a break because someone asked me about Adam. I will switch back to that here. Do I have that on my list? I always think I do, but I don't think I do this time. No, I'll do Adam USD. All right, so I talked about Adam on one of my streams. Oh, I think it was the most recent one I mentioned it. Somebody asked me about Adam. So on a larger scale, Adam, this is to me that I don't like this from an ABC perspective. This is just one continuous trend to me. And if I go zoom out on a larger time frame, I personally believe I don't think we have put another high. Yeah. To me, did this put in a higher high? Ooh, it kind of tested it. So to me, this is an A to a B to a C. Now, when I see this, I personally think that if that is in the bottom at 553, I see this being a much larger structure. And if that is the case, going into a little bit more zoomed in perspective, to me, this is a much, well, I would say larger, but to me, this is an ABC here. And you're going to be trying to play off of this pivot here. And from there, you can go ahead and target that high. I don't know how high it can go, but you want to target at least that pivot. And from there, to me, it looks a little bit better of a structure. It's still not the cleanest. I personally don't like this that much from an ABC perspective, but I really like this as like an A to a B to a C. That looks a little bit cleaner to me. Still not great. Still looks a little bit cleaner. So if you're going to take longs, go ahead and take it off of that pivot, off of that 13. Let's see, if there was a 1325, 1326 and change. Oh, I always forget that green is so bright. Right. You do have that lower one here, but to me, that pivot matters more than this smaller structure. And you can see, like, I'm starting to zoom in a little bit. When I start doing that, to me, I don't necessarily I try to focus on the bigger structure, especially when I'm zooming in. So to me, that's where I'm going to take longs off of. You're going to want to target at least this. If it wants to continue and if BTC wants to push higher, I would go ahead and say hold that and head short up here. Head short just in case, this is just another uptick and then we're going to continue downwards. And let's say possibly put in that much larger ABC, like I mentioned, on the 4 hour to 6 hour basis here. And if that is going to be a much larger ABC, you're going to be testing that 555. So that's how I would approach Adam personally if I were going to trade it. So hopefully that answers that question, Tech Jungle. Thank you so much for asking for my opinion on that. Let me just switch back over to, I believe I talked about the Dow. I mean, the ES is very similar setup on the ES. I know it's a little bit of a it's a futures chart, so it's a little bit different, but it's pretty much the same structure as the SM or as the SPY. And as long as price stays above that 3640, I would say safe. I don't know, say safe to say, but I'm going to be bullish unless price tells me otherwise. And then from there, I don't know where I'm going to be targeting this from an overall market structure standpoint. This looks pretty good to me. Let's see. Thank you for the TA. You're a beautiful, beautiful man. Thank you, Tech Jungle. I appreciate it. Let's look at the DXY. To me, this is kind of choppy. I don't like this. I think I mentioned this before. Let me zoom out to get a better perspective. Wow, I really have to zoom out here, do I? Okay. Let's see. Let me go to like a 4-day. Okay, yeah, okay, this is the setup. So on the DXY on a much larger scale, if it can get back below, because your primary pivot to me is at that $89, but the chart developed so much since then that I'm gonna be targeting this ABC within the C, and this is what I like to call playing into the larger setup. So to me, if the DXY continues to fall, and if it can get back below 103, that's going to be, I would say, bad for the dollar, good for assets in general. So definitely keep an eye out on that level. I know I don't think you can personally trade the DXY. If you can, I don't know if I would do it, to be honest, but that's going to be a much larger bearish setup, which if we're using inverse correlation between that and assets, that's going to be bullish on a much larger scale for just markets in general. So that's pretty much it. You guys have any other questions? You guys have any questions for me? I'm trying to keep an eye on chat. If you guys are here in the room with me, go ahead. Feel free. If I miss a question, let me know.
Yeah, there's no questions in the Discord one.
Okay.
Maybe an opinion on gold.
Yeah, let's do gold. Hey, it's XAU. Is that it? USD? I guess it's just XAU. This one. All right, so gold on a much larger time frame has a ginormous ABC. This is the mother of all ABCs here. This is massive. And I don't know where gold wants to go in these kind of scenarios. I like to go back and zoom out on the chart and see where the areas of support are from the previous trend or from the previous setup. To me, I like this area here as well as the low here. So you can kind of combine that, just that pocket in general. I like, if that fails, I like this area here. So gold definitely doesn't look good on a much major macro perspective. I don't think it looks good. It does have the potential though to put in another high, but I have to prioritize the bigger setup. And as long as gold is below at 1917, 1920 level, definitely I'm gonna definitely be prioritizing a much larger down move for gold. Like I mentioned before, there definitely is a potential to put in another high off of this setup. But to me, that's going to be putting in a much larger A to a B to a C. And if that happens, that's going to confirm, to me at least, that's going to confirm the actual structure itself as it being more completed. As I like to see more, how do I say this? I like to see ABCs within each wave. It doesn't necessarily happen all the time, but if I do see it, I'm definitely would be playing into the much larger structure. And I'm still going to remain bearish. And if anything, it gives you another point to try to short from. I really have to see what gold wants to do. But if you guys want to try to play into that, I would definitely say you have a 4 hour seems tiny. I would definitely say you can definitely try to play a upside swing with your pivot being at about 1677. And I would go ahead and try to take a long off of that. But remember, me personally and how I see this, I'm prioritizing shorts. I'm prioritizing a downward move on a larger scale. Definitely, I don't know how it's going to do that or how it's going to get there, but eventually over time, to me, I'm definitely going to be a little bit more bearish on gold. So that is pretty much it, I believe. You guys want me to go over anything else?
Johnny,
What's
it's
up?
not completely trading wise, but have you heard of lately people talking about silver being a good investment for the future? As well, they're saying it's due bull run, and also they're going to be starting to use it a lot more in all the new parts for electric cars and stuff like that. I just wondered what you think about that.
So personally, I haven't been keeping up with that. I have heard like a little bit of what you talked about, how gold is going to be a little bit more utilized. To me, I don't know if that necessarily dictates how good silver is going to do. I kind of have to take that in perspective, as well as understand what the chart is giving me. From a chart basis, silver actually looks decent. On a, I want to look at the bigger time frame, but
It's due
that's
a
a
bull
two.
run as well. So.
They put in that high. Well, the high is from 19. Oh, it did. Ooh. This is interesting. All right, so there's two different ideas that I have. You have a ginormous. I can't even, like, since the beginning of time. Like, price goes back to all the way to 1904. If this isn't the mother of all ABCs, I don't know what is. Please, if someone can show me a much larger ABC here, I will definitely buy you a drink, because this is ridiculously massive.
Gold
The
is
problem
is
with
is
the
more
problem.
massive.
Which one?
Gold. You also have on the monthly scale.
Oh,
ABC
yeah,
also
yeah.
playing out.
I-
Not only on the weekly there's one, also on the monthly there's also one. But gold
I
will not
actually-
reach these levels. This environment we are. Right
Yeah,
from this
yeah.
one you
Oh,
can
no,
see it. Also on
absolutely.
ABC.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll give. Jesus Christ. Okay. I'll scratch that. This is the mother of all ABCs.
You owe
but
Strong
yeah,
a drink.
I do. Give me your your Bitcoin address, Strong P. I'll send you money for a beer.
It is expensive in Germany. Just saying.
Is it? That's fine. No worries. Because I was definitely proven wrong. Holy crap. All right, I stand corrected. So let's go. Let's go back to silver. I don't remember which one I was using. This one? Yeah, this one.
CFDs, yeah.
So you have the mother of all ABCs, but there's a couple different ways to approach this. Like Strong P said, I honestly don't think you're ever gonna see silver get down to single digits. So I kind of have to approach this differently. I will keep this in mind in the future. When I say future, I'm talking like I'll probably be dead by the time silver actually comes up here. We'll see. That's gonna be a generational move, but let's see. So how I'm going to approach this, there's two different angles. One, a part of me says that you have an ABC set up here that's going to push silver higher. Now, if that is the case, one idea is that you're going to have an A to a B to a C here. And then this is going to be an A to a B to a C. So let me clear that up to kind of show you guys a better perspective. So if silver wants to pump or continue to pump, the first target, or the first, I guess, area of resistance I'm going to be looking at is around that 29.95. And from there, if it doesn't hold, I could definitely call and say that this is going to go lower. Now, if that is the case, the first area of support I want to see, if this does want to play out, is I'm looking for a test of that 1161.5 area, 1160, 1162. If it can break that low and form a much larger setup, I give you the thumbs up to go ahead and be a little bit more bullish on silver. That's one variation. The next variation is based off of what I see here. Maybe we don't get a higher high. Maybe silver goes right back down. It still comes down to test that 1167. And from there, you can remain, I wouldn't say remain bullish, but you can definitely go bullish and definitely, I would say, look for higher, or at least a test of higher regions. It really depends how it wants to do this. The other variation is that silver is not going to care. It is just going to go up and it's going to test and break this high. And from there, you can go ahead and I would say, I don't know if you can. I'm sure you can short silver on leverage. I don't even know what kind of a stop loss you would have to use for that. Something monstrous if you're definitely going to be playing a bigger swing. Just I'm looking at overall market structure in general. I think that if price or silver does pump up to that $48 region, I would say go ahead and be a little weary. If it can't hold, if it just continues to pump, go ahead, hold it. And that's why you were able to get a position down here. If you're trying to play a move off of that idea to where silver's just going to keep pumping, I can go down to a little bit of a smaller time frame and say, if silver can get above here, 2148, and continue to pump from there, I would say that's a good area to buy. Because if that fails or if that doesn't hold, the second idea of coming down to that 1167 is going to be a little bit more likely probability wise. If you're going to take a long or buy into silver, just keep that first idea out in mind to where this could easily just be an A to a B to a C. And then we continue lower, something like that. Easily could happen. Just keep that in mind if you do want to try to play into silver. Like the first idea that I mentioned, that if you're going to buy there, if that high gets broken and continues to pump, the next level we're looking at is 48.50, and it can easily continue from there. So I would just keep those levels in mind and kind of keep the different variations of what the structure can show you. So that was a very long explanation of what I thought of silver, but I kind of have to keep both of the news of what you told me in mind, and also keep in mind what the chart shows me.
I'm thinking of more longer term, like just obviously not just off structure, just like as a longer term investment. Just with what I've been hearing, what I've been reading, just think gold and silver do it. I've just put a thing in the Discord chat, what you can see if you just open that chat up. It's valued at 2025 at £120 per ounce.
Let's see.
And that's just not off that chart. That's off like quite a lot of things I've been reading lately. That it's going to be in the next like 3 to 5 years, £120 an ounce. So yeah. I've got a friend who's got some like Wade, in melted down, and he's been telling me, and he's saving it all. So,
okay.
I did a bit of research on it, and there's quite a lot of people thinking the same thing.
Definitely, if that's the case, I'd definitely be looking to sprint. I'll definitely buy into some silver. But it's almost the same way how I approach buying into BTC. I don't even know, like, great information. Definitely be looking into that. I'm still going to be playing based off of the levels, what it gives me. So I'll definitely keep that on my list of like longer term holds. Thank you for showing me that. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't believe it when I thinking it, but I like just to search onto Google, just like. Well, kind of a deep search onto Google, going clicking on a few links and that, and it tells you quite a bit of what you need to know to have a bit of confidence in what you're thinking. So what I was thinking is doing is obviously not just trading it like we would any other thing, like we talk about now, like structure. Just going on to like obviously completely a different platform and just chucking money into that and just leaving it in for long run.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely something to look into. Thank you for showing. I will absolutely look into that. You know what's funny? I keep seeing these infomercials pop up for like buying gold and silver, like those little coins that they sell. And I just for some reason I thought of that, but I won't be buying that. I'll find actual ways to get silver. I feel like it's gonna be a little bit cheaper to do it that way versus going off of a TV ad.
Yeah, I think that the platform that guy come in, that Vlad, OKX, I think that they offer those kind of things.
Okay, I'll definitely take a look into that.
Yeah.
But if you put
All right.
Johnny, if you put I don't know, 100 grand into silver now and it goes up to 120 an ounce, remember me.
I definitely will. I don't think I'm gonna be
Just
putting that
remember I
much
told
in, but
I just sold all my Bitcoin and put it into silver because you used to.
all right. Does anyone else have any questions for me? Anything you want me to look at? Definitely great conversation, guys. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, you do.
Stopping by.
Great. Thank you very much again, Johnny.
Of course. I love doing this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. So how often do you stream now on YouTube? Every day or?
So I've been slacking. I try to do twice a week, but this week and last week last week I did 2. This week I only did 1. I was supposed to do 1 yesterday, but I came home and immediately fell asleep. So I try to stream twice a week.
8 o'clock, isn't it?
Yeah, it's for some reason, like I'm just really bad with sleep, and I'm also like a bear. Like if I don't get a certain amount of sleep by a certain amount of time, which is like a lot, like I would say like 9 to 10 hours, I'm shot. And if it accumulates over time, I'm just done by the middle of the week. So
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know why I'm like that. Hopefully it'll change, especially if I'm trying to be productive. It's not good, but I'll definitely work on that in the future. But I try to stream twice a week on my channel. I'm aiming for Monday, Wednesday. That's usually going to be my thing. And I know I don't really stream on Friday because I feel like by the time I get on stream, it's a little bit later on and everyone's on the weekend doing their thing, enjoying their time off. So for me, I'll just focus on Monday, Wednesday. And if time comes in the future, I'll definitely be adding more dates to that.
Cool. I saw that Kite's been streaming again as well. He started streaming like every day recently.
Yeah, every day he's been trying to go. He definitely he likes to how do I say this? He goes in spurts. Like he'll go. He's kind of like me, but he likes to just go, and then he'll just stop for an extended period of time, and he'll just like, all right, you know what, let's do this, and then eventually he'll just keep going. For me, I would rather keep a shorter schedule, more long term, rather than stream every day, get burnt out, stop for 2 months and come back. But he's got his own stuff going on. He's doing his best. So Kai, if you're watching this, love you, buddy. Keep it up.
Thank you very much. I don't know if anybody's got any questions. You coming back next week sometime?
Absolutely. I do tomorrow. I'll reach out to you, but I actually have a day off next week, so I'll be able to do a London session. So I'll do that in a little bit of a better time. So
yeah, that's good for my bags under my eyes.
Yeah, I feel bad because I know a lot of you guys are probably falling asleep in your chairs right now. So
these times like take it out of you for tomorrow morning, don't they, David?
No, we're fine.
I figured
Yeah.
I got my coffee right here.
I made a big
My-
one straight after David's AMA, and I'm making a big coffee straight after this, so I can stay and watch Johnny's live, and then I started doing some like online course thing.
Yeah.
And I've had to like stop the course to listen to you because I can't listen to two things at the same time.
Yeah, it's tough. But yeah, definitely
Yeah,
I'll do a London session next week. Sorry.
Fantastic. Well, you've got my WhatsApp. Thank you very much again.
Yep. Thank you guys
Great
so much. I
session
appreciate
again.
you guys.
Yeah,
Thank
man,
you
Johnny.
very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you, mate.
Have a great evening. Bye,
You too.
everybody.
Thank you,
Bye bye
guys.
everyone.
Bye bye.
Thanks,
later.
everybody. Nice to see you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Great session. Thanks.